So I have a 7th Bennett now. But what do I do next? Well, the little red dot looms over for a while while I tell myself that Bennett is fine at C5, before suddenly realizing that extra pyro damage bonus would be nice. Bennett C6 is probably one of the most debated constellations in the game. It can be both a curse or a blessing depending on the characters that you build. So, what does it do exactly? Bennett C6 does two things. When within his burst radius, any characters that use a sword, claymore, or polearms will have their weapons infused with pyro. And all characters will receive a 15% pyro damage bonus regardless of the weapon. However, the infusion is the main reason why people see Bennett C6 as undesirable in many cases. But you see, that is the neat part, since this enables all kinds of shenanigans, and I think it would be a shame not to try them. One possibility is Xingqiu, having good hydro application and being a sword character. With a C6 Bennett, we can vaporize our own attacks. I am looking for big pyro damage, so I switched to a pyro damage goblet and a full Crimson Witch. Our team includes C6 Bennett, Sucrose, and Yunjin. We are ready to go, but we need a volunteer. That will do. As always, I broke the Corolla to stun the boss before running the rotation as normal. Our damage topped out at 16,000, which isn't too impressive, but it is probably mostly because Xingqiu's normal attacks aren't leveled. And since Vaporize and Melt boost the damage of the attacks that trigger them, an unleveled normal attack would naturally not do too much. So, maybe someone with a leveled normal attack. That's more like it. If there is one character that people say has no synergy with a C6 Bennett, it's Ayaka. She can infuse her own sword with cryo, but as you might guess, this is overridden by Bennett's constellation. But when combined, we get a pretty interesting melt build. Ayaka is on a full Crimson Witch, with more crit rate than I have ever seen on my Ayaka before. Against our Regisvine volunteer, we hit a pretty nice 35,000, but deleted its HP bar pretty quickly. So I think I'm gonna need to find something with more HP. The bulkier HP bar of the Primo Geovisharp allows us to see more of what Ayaka can do. But we have a few new issues. This boss has a lot of attacks that can stagger you, so I had to lose some damage support for more defensive options. Layla will provide some protection here, but I still have the issue of Ayaka's burst having a tendency to miss if the target isn't stationary. Probably a skill issue, or maybe just the boss moves too much, but ignoring that, the biggest number we saw was a 44,000. But I think it was a crystallized. However, it is pyro, so I think it still counts. So I'm not going to help the C6 Bennett havers will build anyone as pyro, but Pyrokaya. I think we all know the memes. Pyrokaya isn't real. He can't hurt you. Pyrokaya. He is real, and this man has no business hitting 42,000 normal attacks. But he really just said, you know what, I think I'll show you why you shouldn't bench me. Anyways, here you go, Kaya. You can have that last star. You earned it. Well, that was fun, but I don't think we can call this Bennett shenanigans without trying a DPS Bennett build. Even as a support, Bennett's burst actually scales really well at 400% when crowned. I switched Xingqiu's and Bennett's artifacts, so Bennett is now on a full emblem set. His crit rate is actually a little bit lower than I would have liked, but after a few attempts, we almost one-shotted the boss. Considering that Bennett's burst probably doesn't buff his own burst, I think that this is pretty good, actually. Of course, the shenanigans don't stop here. Guess who's making another appearance today? Yeah, we're back with my level 1 Hu Tao. I was playing through this event, and in some of the stages, we get a trial for Rina, who is a pretty good buffer and hydro applicator. I got a few suggestions about using her in my last video, but I don't have her, so I might as well try this trial Farina. I put my Hu Tao on a balanced build, and the largest number we seen was a 52,000. I was a little worried about keeping Hu Tao alive, given Farina's HP draining mechanics, but that wasn't a huge issue. Not to say that we didn't unalive, of course. But the real issue was all the electro enemies. The overload explosion sent me flying more times than I would have liked to admit. But let's ignore that part and move on. Now, the list of characters that I can make Pyro is actually pretty long. But what about Pyro Traveler? Now, you might just say, can't you wait until Natlin? No, I cannot. I am impatient. Pyro Traveler was released with Bennett, and there is nothing you can do to stop me. Much like our other characters, I equipped Traveler with a full Crimson Witch of Flames, and paired her with Bennett, Sucrose, and Xingqiu. Since I currently have Dendro Traveler, I was thinking of attempting to do a Virgin team, since I have never actually tried it before. And while I didn't notice any particularly incredible numbers, it was a lot of numbers, so we beat the Righteous Vine very quickly. I also wanted to try a Sunfire Gene comp. I always heard about this team, but I have never given it a shot. My gene isn't raised, but let's not worry about that part. Once again, I fight the Righteous Vine. I didn't know this before, but I guess Gene's burst creates this Animo cloud that can infuse with an element if it is on the active character. I thought that this was interesting, and I guess this is why it's called a Sunfire Gene comp. In this particular case, I think it was Xingqiu that was actually doing the heavy lifting here. I didn't see any overly impressive numbers from Gene. I'm still not doing anything to help the C6 Bennett havers will build anyone as Pyro allegations, but this has been fun. I don't really regret activating my Bennett C6. He is a great support with or without it, and I don't think it ruins an account. Thank you so much for watching. This video actually took a really long time to make, so I hope that you enjoyed it. And please, if you did, consider leaving a like or subscribing. It really helps. Anyways, thank you so much for watching again. And with that, I say bye-bye. Thank you so much. Bye. Bye-bye.